Come on, they'll love it.
And that is a clip there from the movie adaptation of the original Hunger Games series. And if you're hoping for a new Hunger Games book, the odds are in your favor. Author Suzanne Collins' latest, which is already set to become a movie, is called Sunrise on the Reaping. It focuses on Katniss Everdeen's future mentor, Haymitch Abernathy, as he competes in what's known as the second quarter quell. Now, only on CBS Mornings, we can reveal who's reading the audiobook. It's the very talented Yellowstone star, Jefferson White.
Yeah.
And here is an exclusive preview.
Since this year's the second quarter quell, marking the 50th anniversary of the Hunger Games, each district has to send twice the usual number of kids. I figure for me, it's like having 40 slips on a regular year, and I don't like those odds. The crowd thickens, but I can see one of the 12-year-olds up front trying to hide that he's crying. In 2 years, Sid will be there. I wonder whether it'll be me or Ma who sits him down beforehand and explains about his role in the reaping. How he has to look nice and keep his mouth shut and not cause any trouble. Even if the unthinkable happens and his name gets drawn, he's got to suck it up, put on the bravest face he can muster, and climb onto that stage because resistance is not an option.
Jefferson White joins us now. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. What a privilege.
So was that your first time hearing yourself?
That was my first time, and everybody famously loves hearing the sound of their own voice, right? We all love that.
How did you feel hearing it?
From our perspective.
How did you feel hearing it?
It's amazing. I'm very, very excited for other people to hear it. The book is so secretive and under wraps. I cannot wait to talk to people about it, so I'm really excited for other people to hear it.
So is it true that they dropped the manuscript off at your house in a locked container, a safe?
A safe.
A safe?
Yeah. I think at that time, like 4 people had read it, they said.
Wow.
Very nerve-wracking, a lot of responsibility. Yeah.
So how did this even come about? How were you connected to this project?
That's a great question. I'm grateful to be connected to the project. I don't really know where this originated. This was one of these like miracle phone calls. When you're an actor, this is exactly the kind of call you want to get. I've been a fan of the Hunger Games for a decade, so I felt very, very lucky to get this phone call. I think Suzanne Collins likes Yellowstone, is my understanding, and I love the Hunger Games. So yeah, just a miracle.
So your mom was a public librarian for more than 30 years?
35 years in Lisbon, Iowa.
Oh, wow.
It's a huge Iowa day on CBS.
Shout out to Iowa.
Iowa takeover.
Takeover, that's right.
Yeah, Lisbon, Iowa. Shout out Lisbon, Iowa. Shout out Mount Vernon.
So what was it like growing up and your mom was a librarian, and how did that kind of impact the way that you became an actor and also now reading audiobooks?
Yeah, I mean, I've been a lifelong reader, Mom. Okay? I barely look at my phone. I'm just reading all the time. So I've read my whole life, and my mom, my very first experience with performance was doing puppet shows with my mom at the Lisbon Public Library. She did puppet shows for kids. She's very involved in the community theater there.
That's
so
great.
Yeah, a lot of my early experiences with performance were at that library and in our little town in Iowa.
That's amazing. So what are some of the differences between acting on set and doing an audiobook?
There's some differences and some similarities. Yeah, it's a really fascinating. You know, actors, we sort of try to use our whole body, our whole instrument, all of the tools available to us, right? So much of acting is physical. And so then when all you have doing the audiobook is one tool, you've just got your voice, you really have to use that one tool with depth and specificity. But this was my first time, so I'm still learning the answer to that question, I would say.
So do you like read the book through first yourself and then like make notes and then do your dry run? How many takes did it take?
It takes, you sort of go in little, by the time you finish a sentence, you learn what the sentence is about and then go back and read the sentence again, you know? So you kind of go like this, working your way through it. I read the book. The book is so good. I got this sort of secretive locked iPad, and I read the book, I think, in 2 sittings.
Wow.
I had to go to bed the night before, and then I woke up the next morning and finished it sort of whole cloth. I was weeping like a baby. My wife's not allowed to know about any of this. It's very confidential.
So you're just over the crying.
She came into the living room, and I'm just pouring tears.
That's great. Gosh. Well, Jefferson White, we appreciate you. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Yeah.
And shout out to Iowa.
Shout out to Iowa.
Shout out to Iowa. The newest Hunger Games novel, Sunrise on the Reaping, and the audiobook narrated by Jefferson White are available on Tuesday, March 18th, wherever you buy your books.
Jefferson, I don't believe for a second you didn't tell your wife about this book.
I didn't. I would never tell her. She's learning right now.